What is up, guys? It is Uncle Bob, and welcome back to Breath of Fire 2. And we're starting off in the middle of a battle. Because the last time I was playing this, I was playing in my car as my son was coming home from school. And paused my recording, got him off the bus, got him inside, talked to him for a little bit, did the, after school thing, check his backpack, get him a snack, a drink, do all the things. And then afterwards, I was like, I I um I had just gone in the other room and I went to start recording again, and my phone was it had the the lock symbol on the screen that it gets when I leave my when I leave a game on too much, the little screensaver thing where you just swipe on the screen to unlock it, like not the actual lock, but like an extra weird lock. I don't even know if it's a part of this program or my phone. But yeah, with this phone or with this recording program, if I lock my screen, like by hitting the side button, it just cuts the thing. And that's what I did. I went out and I went to what am I doing? I went out to go and finish, or I went to the other room to go finish recording and hit the lock immediately and was like, all right, well, I guess I'm just done playing. All right. Oh wait, no, I need Sten. That's the whole fucking point. I'm coming here. All right, we need Gene in our party because his levels are abysmal and he also sucks. So, I'd rather him get as many levels as he can to come as close to not sucking as humanly possible. I don't know if that's asking for too much. It might just be. So, I definitely got something I want to talk about today cuz I um I had read comments and headlines about I think his name's aonuma, one of the Nintendo higher ups talking about um linearity in the Zelda games and him just talking about, certain fans' reactions to the new Zelda games overall. And we're gonna as soon as we get to our village, the village that we're making, as soon as we get there, we're gonna go over to the article and we're gonna see what he says. Because I want to make sure that I get the fullness of what he's saying. Like, not relying on just like, oh, I heard he said, and then just kind of going with that. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing good today. My stomach is kind of killing me. Not in like an I want to puke way, but I had a not much bigger than normal breakfast, but a slightly bigger than normal breakfast. Honestly, I drink like more water than I normally do as well. Like, it's not like I ate. No, it was a normal sized breakfast. It was just I drank a whole like I drank double the water, and ever since my stomach's felt like there's just been a lump. Almost like I drank too much water, and then whatever my stomach is trying to do to the food is kind of just being not helped by having like a watered down stomach, and just feels like a blob is just sitting in my gut. Makes me feel like, oh man, this is what a snake must feel like. Is you just got this fucking lump of shit just going down your... Well, it's food. It will be shit. But just this lump that just you feel go through your whole body. Certain point, it just feels like, man, will you get on with it? Granted, I didn't even eat 10 hours ago, so I don't know why I'm complaining so much. God, this fat fucking frog. Looks like me. Just waddling around all over the place. Oh, 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 oh. Hey, it's looking bigger. Look at this place. Okay. Yes, I want an explanation. Alright, let's join souls. Unite. We only got 2 shamans, so I guess we are. It failed. Oh, so if I say no, then yes? Alright, cool. Sun is the fire shaman. Alright, well, I guess let's try Sten. Okay, that one didn't work. Does it work on Cat? Some of these guys got to be compatible with something. One of yous. God damn. Alright, well, let's... It wouldn't work on Ryu, would it? I don't see the main character getting anything like this. Maybe he does, but that wouldn't make sense to me. I wouldn't imagine him getting one. Okay, that's about what I thought. So is there a reason that all these are failing, or like, is it just the combination? All right, well, we got 2 more characters we're going to try this with, and then if I came here for nothing, then I guess I came here for nothing, but there was no way I was going to know. All right, just have the A squad come out real quick. All right. Do we get anything? Da-na-na-na-na-na. Nope, not that one. Where did my fucking lighter go? Oh, it's right next to my piece. I don't know why I'm fucking... Alright, well. Rand is the last one to try here, baby. They all did not work. Cool. Cool. That's so awesome. I totally wanted to fucking come here for no reason. Yeah, because then I can get back to the other side of that one thing. All right, but before we continue on, we're gonna go take a check at that letter, or that article, because, like I said, I want to read those comments. All right, so if I have some of this not centered correctly, my bad. I'll read the whole thing, so it's not like it matters. The Legend of Zelda series producer Eiji Aonuma, sorry if I butchered that, aonuma, has been on an interview spree, presumably because he was in the USA for the Game Awards 2023. In a new interview with IGN, aonuma was asked about those fans who have expressed a desire for a more traditional Zelda experience than the open-world adventures we have had with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Aonuma says he understands that people enjoy nostalgia, but simply questions whether it is simply just that. It is interesting to hear you say that, because one of the discussions I've seen among Zelda fans is some of them saying, "Gosh, I miss those traditional linear Zelda games, Zelda of the past." The more traditional linear Zelda. Okay, yeah. And I'm wondering, how do you feel about the given direction of the series toward a free-form, open-ended kind of design? Well, I do think we as people have a tendency to want a thing that we don't currently have, and there's a bit of a grass is greener mentality, but I also think that with the freedom players have in more recent games in the series, there is still a set path. It just happens to be a path they choose. So I think that is the one thing I kind of like to remind myself about the current games we are making. But also, it is interesting when I hear people say those things, because I am wondering, why do you want to go back to the type of game where you are more limited or more restricted in the types of things or ways you can play? But I do understand the desire we have for nostalgia, and I can also understand it from that aspect. All right. So we got the whole thing down, and that's about what I heard was being said, but just wanted to read the full remarks to make sure that I got everything correctly and I understood. And now, as this game may, and my channel name may clue you in, I like old stuff. I like, well, not really old stuff, but like games. There's just a magic in older games that I just feel isn't there anymore. And that has nothing to do necessarily with open world or a linear world design. That doesn't really have anything to do with it, but a lot of the old games have a tendency to be more linear. You know, he is right. So, like, I'm not trying to talk about this just from, like, me liking older games. I just, in general, when I play games, I guess it's weird to say that I mean, I have a very, very active imagination. So, in my head, I'm, like, always telling stories and, like, making up scenarios. And, like, I'm always doing all this mental stuff, like, with whatever I'm thinking about, and it's just everything all the time. When I'm playing a game, I'm not really, in my mind, going on an adventure. For me, most games, at least when I think of the games that I tend to gravitate to, I'm playing stories. That's how I always envisioned it. It's a story that's being told that I am a part of. I look at a an old school Final Fantasy game, or I mean, I guess even a game like this, Breath of Fire. I mean, because these are pretty linear games. I look at it as a book that I am the narrator for. It's only my experience going through it. The story is all there. I don't traditionally look at games as like an actual adventure. That's just never been how I've played games or thought about games. And I get that's not for everyone. So, that only speaks to my experience and not necessarily everyone else's. But for me, games were always about a story that you were experiencing firsthand. You were the architect of it. And I guess because of that, especially in a lot of games, exploration isn't really like a big deal to me. I don't really super duper go out of my way to explore doing a whole bunch of extra side quests. In a lot of older games where like there's only like one or two side quests in the whole game, that's whatever. I don't mind that, but when it's a game where, it's a shit ton of side quests, bro, I do not wrong button. I do not really play games like that, and I don't really enjoy games like that. And there's nothing wrong with liking it. It's just exploration has just not mattered for me. I mean, that's honestly why, though, that, I guess on the topic of Zelda, like, that's also why Majora's Mask is also my favorite Zelda of all time. Because it takes an aspect of gaming that I generally don't like or don't prefer doing, side quests, and makes it an enjoyable experience for me to partake in. And when you can take an aspect of gaming that I don't traditionally like and make me like it, I tend to look at you like, yeah, all right, I like this. I mean, that's why I've always talked about, as far as for them being open world games, that's why I've always said that, my favorite open world games have always been Fallout New Vegas and Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Now, I won't say that necessarily I think that Black Flag is the best Assassin's Creed game I've ever played, but it's the one that makes, as an open world game, for me, the best use and best justification narratively for there to be an open world. You're literally a fucking pirate. And I can vibe with it with certain games. Like, no genre of everything is all bad all the time. There's still a couple games I like, but in general, I will always prefer a more linear experience, because for me, it feels like a story that I'm taking part in. And that's what I like. That's what I generally love in gaming. Because, I mean, I have no exact order in this necessarily. It's not like when I say, like, top 5 things I look forward to in a game, it's not like these are all, like, set in stone. Ooh, that's dope. That's pretty dope. I like that move. Okay, only one person poisoned? That's not super unfortunate. That's actually pretty nice. But, usually the plot, the characters, that's unfortunate. Like character interactions, music, art direction, gameplay loop, all of these things matter to me so far beyond exploration. Like, exploration doesn't even crack the top 5 of things that I'm really looking for in a game. And like I said, those 5 aren't all in order, Certain titles, certain games, I'll value different things in them to certain extents, depending on what they are. But when it comes to Zelda, now, this might be, first of all, there's a group of people that always have the same thing when it comes to like the linear versus open world Zelda. And I want to get rid of this little argument right here. People will always be like, well, yeah, but the very first game in the very original Zelda was an open world game, so these games are just getting back to its roots. And though not entirely wrong, actually, no, it's not wrong. What was known as the identity of Zelda was never that, because none of the other games were like that. Even the one that's quote-unquote the black sheep, Adventure of Link, that game's not open. Neither is A Link to the Past. A Link to the Past has parts of it that can be open, but it's that one I can actually. You know what? A Link to the Past, I'll give a little wiggle room. That one I'll give a little wiggle room. All right, fair enough. But Link's Awakening, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Oracle of Seasons and Ages, all of these games, Wind Waker, Spirit Tracks, Phantom Hourglass, Twilight Princess, all of them linear. So what was the identity of Zelda? Yeah, the very first game was open, but the identity of the series wasn't that. So don't appeal to the first game, especially when, I'm not gonna lie, as an old school video game player, most people who say that have never fucking beat the original Zelda. They can eat my ass using that as a fucking argument. I'm sorry, no. If you beat the original Zelda game and then you tell me that, hey, you know what, all right, fair enough. But I know most of these motherfuckers that are talking about it have never actually played that game. Granted, I think they should. I think the original Zelda is obviously, even though, for me, one of my least favorite Zelda games, honestly, even without that, I still like it, and obviously, I love it, but it's still a part of video game history that I think pretty much everybody should take part in. But what was known as the Zelda identity was them being more linear games. And that's not necessarily something that I think should necessarily be in every game. I think I already stayed at the end. I'm done. I don't think even that needs to stay like the norm for every single Zelda game. I think there's room in the franchise for two different kinds of games. Because for me, like I said, exploration I never cared about. I don't care about going to villages and finding random side quests about meeting the mystery of the ghost behind the waterfall under the full moon. I don't going and fetch some random bullshit fetch quests. I don't enjoy that kind of gaming. I think it's boring. It's just not for me. And again, if I enjoyed exploring a little bit more in a lot of games, then maybe that wouldn't bother me. Maybe that would be part of the adventure because you're seeing all the new sights of the world. But for me, it just doesn't matter. For me, what matters most, especially in a Zelda game, is I want it to feel not like an adventure. I want it to feel like a quest. You feel what I mean? I want there to feel like there's a purpose at all times to what I'm doing. Now, you don't need it jammed into you every second that you're on a quest, but you at least got to have moments to turn it around. Or, like, turn it back in. I don't know how I want to say that. But, like, let's look at, what was the one? Because there's in the newest Zelda, because I haven't gotten a chance to even touch Tears of the Kingdom ever. I don't have it, I haven't bought it. But I know that, like Breath of the Wild, which I have played, it's got a dungeon for the Gorons, the Zoras, the Ritos, and the Gerudos. And then it also has a Zonai dungeon for, like, the ancient race, like the animal furry race. There was a dungeon for them as well. What I would have done, personally, is I would have made it so, let's say at the start of the game, now this would be a bit limiting, so some people might not like me even limiting it this much. But let's just say the game starts off and it only offers you the Rito dungeon and the Goron dungeon. Let's just say that we start off with that. Let's say, you finish the opening area, you go down to the land. The entire world could still be open for you, but let's say plot-wise, narrative-wise, only 2 dungeons open up for you to start. I know, limiting. Most people don't like that. Doesn't he turn into a frog? Isn't that how I get in? In we go. Oh God, no, not this song. This song, it's not bad. This is just like a song that like haunts me in my dreams, because this is always, I think, where I stop playing this game. I think twice I've gotten to this part of the game and then just never continued. But before we continue, let me finish my little spiel here, because I'm on a roll. Even though now I'm completely derailed. Oh yeah, I remember what I was saying. So let's say only the Rito and the Goron dungeons open up to you first. Let's just give that an example. Full world, still openly explorable, still go to all your fucking random villages and do all your random bullshit, but only 2 dungeons are open to you at the start. And then take that Zonai dungeon and have that be a mandatory dungeon to do third. Because that gives you a chance. One of the things that, especially that I didn't like about Breath of the Wild, I get that, Link at this time is like an amnesiac. He doesn't remember anything. So a lot of this is just him trying to find pieces of his memory and kind of get it all together. Like, I understand the narrative reason why you're doing this, but gameplay-wise, I don't like when this happens. Where when you go to the Goron place, all the cutscenes and everything is only related to what's going on in the Goron place. In the Rito place, everything is only happening about what's going on in the Rito place. A lot of times in games like this, a lot of the things that end up happening, because exploration is the bigger thing, they end up being these smaller little contained stories as a part of a bigger narrative. I like there to be a little bit more build-up in the plot that makes you feel like you're on a quest, which is what I said I like in a Zelda game. So, to me, having a dungeon that you have to do, no matter what, you can do, like I said in my example, you could do the Goron, then the Rito, or you could do the Rito, then the Goron. You could do either dungeon in any order you want, do it at your leisure. But then, have another dungeon that's mandatory, that gives you time, especially if you're going to do the Zelda format the way they have been, have a mandatory dungeon in the middle where that gives you time to do, some more plot things, some more character development, some character interactions. Give a little bit of a reinvigoration into your purpose of why you're doing what you're doing and what it's all for. Because a big problem now, in Tears of the Kingdom, this may not be the issue. From what I've heard, it doesn't seem like it was substantially different with the way the story was told to change this too much. But at very least, like a critique I have of Breath of the Wild, this was the screen I was talking about. I would let this screen pop up, and if I locked my phone, it would just cut off the whole thing. But anyway, one of the critiques I had of Breath of the Wild was, honestly, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't give a fuck about saving Hyrule, really. I didn't really give a fuck about Zelda. Like, the most reminder I had that Zelda existed is every time there was a blood moon and she had to make her little speech about how, darkness coming back or whatever the fuck whatever Kingdom Hearts line she was trying to tell me. And that was really, like, it that you get from Zelda. Like, certain people might talk about her, but that's really all you get out of, like, the narrative or the overall story. All of the overall story is all at the beginning when the king points at the castle and is like, that's where Ganon is. find Kakariko Village. And then you go to Kakariko, you talk to Impa, boom, you get some more story, and then that's basically it. You get all of the story front loaded in like the first 3 to 4 hours of the game, and the other 96 is all just not totally plotless, just relatively plotless. And it just doesn't satisfy me. Not enough to justify the way that they just do the games now. It's just not what I look for. I think A Link Between Worlds, though I didn't finish it, I played that like 8 years ago a little bit when I got it from my brother. I think A Link Between Worlds actually had a setup like that, if I'm not mistaken, between the light world and the dark world. I wouldn't mind that being more of the thing that they do. Even if you don't do like the dual worlds, like that sort of setup, I think that's actually exactly what I'm talking about. So if I'm right, I haven't finished, I haven't replayed that game in like a decade, and it was only once. But if I'm not mistaken, A Link Between Worlds might actually be the picture-perfect example of what I'm talking about. And it's not like you even have to step out of the series to even find an example of it. So, like, I don't know. I don't think it's just nostalgia. I think there are a lot of people that are starting to grow. I've just never liked most open world games. They've just never been the thing for me. But, what was I going to say? But it does seem like there's an ever-growing list of people who really are, like, not like... I mean, I guess people are getting sick of it. And it's not like the game needs to be perfectly linear. But, I mean, definitely to me, if I have to choose between Breath of the Wild or Skyward Sword, I'm choosing Skyward Sword. I'm choosing Skyward Sword 9 days out of 7. Like, in a week. Like, that's easy for me. I have no problem with that being... stairway that continues underwater. Cool. Oh yeah, doesn't everybody hate him here? And people of my castle, your prince has returned. Make me happy with your words of welcome. Don't do a headlock on me. Okay, I forget what's exactly going on here. I know someone's like trying to like take the throne or some bullshit. He's getting some very kingly treatment. This dude looks like a knight. I apologize for the commotion. I am the prince of this castle, and my name is the same thing that he said. I'm sure you have already figured out that he was an imposter. That man actually believes he is the prince. I apologize on his behalf for trouble. A boat to take you back is, and it said money before, is ready to take you in front of the castle. Can I say no? I cannot waste your time. Okay, he's just... But thou must. Alright, but anyway, I just think that, like, for me, the biggest fun thing for Zelda for me was always the dungeons. The dungeons, the temples, those were always the funnest part of the game to me. So, for the franchise to move, especially with Breath of the Wild, again, as an example, to move away from those classic dungeon setups, that removed a really large part. It removed a really large part of like what I looked for in a Zelda game. Because like those dungeons were, to me, always the best part. And the overworld, to me, now this is where I'm probably an exception. The overworld to me was just an overextended buffering zone to get me to the next dungeon. The quicker I could get to the dungeon within reason, in further Zelda games, give me a little bit of plot and story in between, as games got more advanced and they weren't so old, you know. I'm cool with that, but in general, just get me to the dungeons. Nope, I can't sleep in any doors. There, I would like a place to save, though. You just wait. What is she doing? Is she going to sink this boat? And she did. Oh, that was my... Hey! That was my boat and my money. Bitch, the fuck? But first, please listen to my story. You could have... You know what would help me listen to your story? That bag of money. You fucking ass. Damn. Fucking frog kumite. They must have dropped something. Yep. They're already just giving us the scoop. That was Master Gene. The fact that they just call him the imposter, like, openly like that is some ballsy shit. Might deliver a snack. Okay. Can I get out of the water now? Why am I sinking? What, are we just sinking down to the floor? What is going on here? Just watch him just sink down to the bottom. Not even eyes closed, just eyes open. We can't swim. Excellent. Okay, where's a fucking dragon god statue? Jesus Christ. And let me move. Thank goodness. Can I get more info? A little more intel? This imposter just fooled your dad. Gene is like a tubby little goofball. How did this, like, well-mannered Chad just walk in? I mean, I know why he would, but they just didn't care if he was an imposter. All right. All right, so now we got gills just like the last game. Sweet. Ooh, hey, we got shops now. Everything's too expensive. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. I need that. So he can use a rapier as well? Okay, I need that. Need that. Dragon God statue? This looks exactly like where I'd find one. Get the fuck out of my way. Dog. NPCs stuck on bridges. Ass aids. Bruh, move! But you know, back to my rant. I think I said everything I needed to say. Okay, I don't think this is gonna have a fucking save point, which is what I'm looking for. I don't really care about seeing the fucking king. Not right now, anyway. What's in here? Okay, so can I leave here? Okay, we got a boat. No. Okay, whoo. The fact that it started turning around tweaked me out, I'm not gonna lie. Alright. Sleep. I don't know, can I add another member to my party? Hell yeah, I can. We're getting the dream team out, baby. Now we'll save. Alright. But yeah, no, I guess I just don't think it's all just nostalgia. I think there is a lot of room for a lot of things that made the old Zelda series great. Honestly, if you gave me an open world game, but gave me like some really good old school Zelda dungeons to go with it, honestly, I could be fine with it. And seeing the Tears of the Kingdom tried to add like partners, kind of like the end of Wind Waker to go through, not necessarily a bad start. Like, that's not bad. But I think that, like, the 5 terminals setup, I think it's lame. I think having them be, like, old school dungeons, I think there would be a lot of room for that. Especially when, like, clearly you're fine at making puzzles. It's just puzzles with more of a dungeon threat, like, from enemies and, and natural hazards. Like, it's not... You can have both of those things. I don't see why there can't be room for both of those things. But, you know, I don't think they necessarily need to go back to everything, but I think that to just dismiss it like, oh, it's just nostalgia. It's like, no, not necessarily. There's things that made the Zelda series what it is that you could add a bit more of, which is a little bit more story. Not like Zelda's were super heavy story, but like as they got up there, like you got to give it a little bit, got to give it a little something. But, you know, whatever. That's fine. I'll talk to you guys later. Next time it's Super Metroid again tomorrow. Happy day. Till then, guys. Peace.